right, guys, this edition of the post-game show, post-US Mexico, brought to you by Dos Acero. For the 8th time since 2000, the final result, U.S. versus Mexico, 2-0. Dos Acero. It is unbelievable how those numbers keep popping up. Rob Stone, Gonzalo Pineda, Eric Winalda, Stuart Holden here with you. Let's get to the highlights and then to the discussion. And plenty to talk about. Yes, the field was a big topic. Very difficult for folks to have much possession. But one of the big conversation points, this man, number 8, Jordan Morris, his 3rd U.S. appearance. Folks, he's a sophomore at Stanford University.
There's that back pass from Masuna. That led him on his way the first time. If you watch it the second half, he does it again. There was great signs of life out of Morris. Plenty of chances, plenty of crosses, but you can feel it coming.
Gonzalo, an opportunity for Mexico to get on the board late in the first half.
Yes, it was a good play by the right side, Jerry Flores, and a good cross from Herrera.
And Morris missing that one. So we go to the second half, and Michael Bradley playing in that advanced midfield role, Stuart.
Yeah, Michael Bradley doing a great job getting out of a tight space, but this is all about Jordan Morris. What a moment for the kid out of Stanford. Great first touch, holds his composure, 5-4 on the keeper.
Just his third
Even knows where the camera is. Look at that.
Just his third appearance for the U.S. men's senior national team. His first start gets his first goal. Then how about the touch from Juan Agudelo coming in off the bench, the reclamation project, now in MLS with the New England Revolution, and fires that one in to make it 2-0. That was in the 72nd minute.
And you could tell in the celebration. Obviously, the slip helped a little bit. He kept his composure, keeps it low, makes it hard on the goalkeeper. That's a lot of emotion coming out of that kid. Welcome back.
So that made it 2-0, and that was the final result. So Jurgen Klinsmann remains unbeaten versus Mexico as head coach of the U.S. men's national team. And Alexi Lawless, in the pregame, he said, is he crazy, or is he crazy like a fox? What's your assessment of Jurgen Klinsmann in the U.S. right now?
Well, that was a good result. That was a good result for Jurgen Klinsmann. It was a good result for this team. It was a result that this team needed. Maybe a star is born. What do? We build him up to tear him down. Jordan Morris, everyone's going to be talking about him as they should. He's exciting. He had the opportunity. Maybe there are other players that are better. Doesn't matter. Jurgen Klinsmann said, I want you. He had the opportunity in his hand. He took a hold of it. He made us believers. At least for tonight. We'll see what happens going forward. But, man, what a way to start out your international career.
This was a challenging game. As we talked about with the field conditions, it's Mexico. What did the U.S. do well tonight that they're back in this Dos Acero position after all?
Number one, defensively, I thought that they were very, very good. Alvarado and Omar Gonzalez in that center pairing were good. And I think collectively they understood how to defend. Obviously, they stopped that trend of letting in late goals. And I think there was just a recognition of the circumstances at play in this game. It wasn't perfect. You can complain about it after the game, but find a way to get it done. And that is a hallmark of U.S. teams. Doesn't matter. People screaming and yelling, a horrible surface, anything. Snow, rain, sleet, whatever it is, figure it out and get a result. That's what they did. And actually, it wasn't just all banging away. I thought they did very, very well. Some individuals, as we say, really increased their stuff.
And Rob, as you well know, had the U.S. lost this game and they conceded late goals again, we'd have been letting them have it. But they managed to get it done. They win once again 2-0 over Mexico. It's a jump start in front of a very big 2015 for this team.
John, most of the folks from the Alamo Dome filtering out right behind us here. And the red, white, and blue outnumbered in the stands. They're winning the vocal battle as we speak live behind us from the Alamo Dome. Flashback to 1976. A star is born. Barbara Streisand, Chris Christopherson. We want to hold down the hype machine. And I know U.S. Soccer will encourage us to do the same thing. But when a striker who's this young and is playing college soccer does something this special on this stage, it is very difficult, Eric Winalda, to not be excited.
I'm enamored by it as well. Not to make any comparisons here, but way back in 14 years ago, there was this kid named Landon Donovan who happened to score in the 49th minute in a 2-0 win against Mexico. Not to draw any parallels there, but look, he's got speed, he's got power, he's got a lot to learn, but what a start, a lot to build off of here. I was so proud of him tonight.
Very active, almost got a couple more than a timely run, staying with the ball, following it, going 5-hole in what proved to be the game winner in the 49th minute. At halftime, we saw him talking with assistant U.S. coach Andreas Herzog, who told me, I told him to relax, told him to move, get open so he can get something over the top. The kid, all he does is score the game-winning goal versus their arch rivals Mexico in his first career start. John and Alexi talked about the U.S. defensive issues. This is another absolute crazy stat. They have allowed 15 goals in the final 15 minutes of the last 15 games coming into this one. The center of the defense, a lot of shuffling over the course of the calendar year, really since the end of last summer's World Cup. What did you think of the pairing tonight, Stu?
Well, if we think about the players that have played in that position, Michael Orozco, Jeff Cameron, Matt Beasler, John Anthony Brooks, it's kind of been a revolving door almost. Jurgen Klinsmann trying to find that partnership. And he was speaking very highly of Ventura Alvarado coming into this, playing down in Club America, finding his way into the team. And I tell you what, really impressed with him and Omar Gonzalez tonight. Did a great job of keeping the game in front of them, following the runs, and really limiting Mexico up front with Herrera and Cubo Torres, who had not a sniff tonight. So a big credit to them. Obviously still a work in progress, but encouraging signs for the United States back line.
And a good sign up front again. Juan Agudelo, one of those reclamation projects, MLS to Europe, back to Major League Soccer, and here he is scoring the second for the States.
Maybe it was just a little bit too fast, too early for him. He's a different player now. He's been beat up a little bit. He's got a couple of scars. He's got some battle wounds, and there's a lot of emotion in that kid. We saw that the first time he scored for the U.S. We saw it again tonight. The emotion came streaming through, but the skill is definitely there.
Well, Gonzalo, let's talk about Mexico. What, if any, were the takeaways for the Mexican national team?
Yeah, I think there's not too much to say about the Mexican players. I think they had this opportunity for being in the final roster for the Copa America, and I think no one really take it. So probably they should fight in the league, in the Liga MX, for this spot in Copa America.
Let's talk about Jurgen Klinsmann right now, and we all have opinions on him. And I'll start with you, Eric. Jurgen Klinsmann in the locker room, exhaling, smiling, doing the Jurgen Klinsmann laugh that Stuart Holden can replicate so well. What is his big takeaway from tonight's win?
Well, he learned a lot about the character of some of his guys. These aren't ideal conditions. That was a bad field. And to instill the confidence in a kid, to have the audacity to put a college kid out there in this kind of atmosphere was telling us one thing, that maybe sometimes his gut is right. And it was right tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking at guys that were potentially on the bubble, a little bit in and out. Very impressed with Mix Discaru tonight. Thought that he playing a little bit out of position, tilted it to the right, found his way into the game. Joe Corona as well. Made extremely narrow for the United States in the middle, gave Mexico no room to play. And I think that was a credit to the shape. Against Denmark, terrible. Against Switzerland, a much more improved structure, 4-4-2 with the diamond. And today, again, much better. Mexico created next to nothing tonight.
Gonzalo, your takeaway from the U.S.?
Yes, also I agree. They did a great job defensively, closing all the channels for the Mexican team, and a good call about Morris. I mean, Morris scoring a goal is a good thing for Klinsmann, so I think it was a good night for the U.S.
The only really sour note, the injury to Kyle Beckerman. We don't know the extent of that. He clearly went to his knee in a non-contact injury, but the story here from San Antonio, sold-out Alamo Dome filtering out behind us. They witnessed yet another
2-0.
2-0. Plenty more from the soccer scene from San Antonio in a bit.
We're rubbing it in.
Now send it back out to LA.
Gonzalo, man.